What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're going to be taking a look at Oz, the Great and Powerful, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Mila Kunis, James Franco, Rachel Weisz, Michelle Williams, Zach Braff, and Joey King. Oz, the Great and Powerful is like a kind of sort of prequel to the original Wizard of Oz movie. This movie tells the story about how Oscar Diggs became the Wizard of Oz, and for what it is, I really enjoyed this movie. Yes, I got my issues with it, but overall, I think it's very solid. It's very fun. It has a lot of cool little homages and tributes to the original film, but it also tries to tell its own story. It's not a carbon copy. Let's get on to the positives. The acting in this movie, for the most part, is solid. I like James Franco more than most people do, and I think he was an okay choice to play Oz. I know I like the performance a lot. I like seeing how Oz is a self-centered douche, and then as the movie progresses, he becomes that good-hearted man that everyone knows that he is. And it's a very natural progression. It doesn't happen in one scene. You see it happen throughout the course of the movie, how he starts to, especially with the Finley, the flying monkey. We see how that relationship, forms. Also, we see how the relationship with the little China girl forms. We see this little romance that he starts to develop with Glinda the Good Witch. We also see how he doesn't trick the Theodora character to fall in love with him, but she's so naive that she falls for him and he is kind of like reluctant. So you can see that happening. So I like the character. I like the idea of him being a magician and a con man. It works for me. It really does. Speaking of Theodora, played by Mila Kunis, is actually... This movie also gives us the origin of the Wicked Witch of the West, and I do got some issues with it. I have a hard time swallowing the fact that the Wicked Witch of the West would turn evil because her heart was broken. I just have a hard time swallowing that. And the way Mila Kunis plays it, she plays her being way too naive, but if this movie would have played up the fact that she's naive, but she's not that naive, I would have swallowed it a little more. But I do like how they tease that she has a temper. It shows in the scene where she's having a little argument with her sister, Theodora, the Wicked Witch of the East, about Oz, and she liked those little fireballs. So I thought that was pretty cool. And we get to see the fireball that was in the original movie, which is a nice little touch. I like Zach Braff as Finley. I thought he was very funny as a flying monkey, and I thought he was also really funny as Oscar's assistant in the quote-unquote real world, as in that traveling circus they were in. I like the fact how Oz does not think anything at all of his assistant. He just treats him like a glorified monkey. And then when we get to Oz, we see that the man he called a monkey is now a flying monkey, and they start to develop a real friendship about the course of the film. And Zach Braff is hilarious. He has a lot of good scenes. He has a lot of good lines. And I like how he can just throw it right back at Oz. It's good stuff. Joey King as a little China girl. I like her too. She's just very adorable. Again, her counterpart's also in the real world as playing like this little crippled girl in a wheelchair. And we see Oz in the China Girl First Meet where he fixes the little China girl's legs after her home was ransacked. After her whole village was ransacked and destroyed. Her legs were broken, but Oz fixed it. A nice little callback to the beginning of the movie where he couldn't fix the girl in the wheelchair's legs. He was able to fix the China girl's legs. I like stuff like that. It adds a lot to the story. It adds a lot to Oz's character, and it shows that he's growing. Rachel Weisz as Theodora. I like her a lot. She's very seductive. She's very, conniving, very sneaky, and I like the scenes that she has with Oz, and I really like the scenes she has with her sister Theodora. It's actually Theodora who pretty much gave Theodora the apple that made her the Wicked Witch of the West. It brought out her inner evilness, her wickedness. So I like how it was the older sister that pretty much created the devilish, evilest motherfucker in all of Oz. That stuff was good. I liked it a lot. You have more side characters who are pretty cool too. You had Tony Cox, who was like the town herald. He was funny. I like how Oz always called him a sourpuss, and they would bicker at one another. eventually they become friends at the end, which is good stuff. You get a Bruce Campbell cameo as well. Sam Raimi move, of course. You can get Bruce Campbell cameo, which is always great. He plays a Winky guard. Michelle Williams as Glinda. Michelle Williams was good for what she was, but I thought she came across as a little bit flat in certain scenes. Of course, she also has a Candace counterpart who is going to be married by a man named Jonathan Gale. And so, of course, that's a little reference to Dorothy Gale. So that stuff's good too. But her as Glinda, though I do think she came across as bland in a lot of areas, I do like the budding romance between her and Oz. It's natural to me. Like, they don't fall for each other right away. And again, it plays off the real world fact about how Oz was in love with this girl from Kansas. Now he gets to have that with Glinda, who is her counterpart. So I thought that stuff was good as well. The movie itself, it's really well directed by Sam Raimi. The black and white scenes in the traveling carnival looks great. And when Oz goes to the land of Oz, it looks very bright, vibrant, very pretty. It's an homage to the original movie about how it looks fake, but it looks fake on purpose because Oz is supposed to be like this fairy tale land. It's supposed to be imaginary. So the fact that it looks like you're seeing a green screen, to me, that just goes to the whole idea of what Oz is. It's an imaginary place. It's not supposed to look real. It's supposed to look fake. And I think Sam Raimi understood that, and I applaud him because I've always known that. And it works great. Like, if you're going to complain about how the CGI looks fake, it's supposed to look fake on purpose. It ain't supposed to look real. But you do get some good practical effects thrown in here and there, and I like that a lot. The best part of this movie is the end, where you get like a nice little commentary on the state of movie making, how the witches are all using flamboyancy and special effects, while Oz uses his quick thinking and uses practical effects to defeat them and scare them. I thought that was really, really cool. It's actually a really cool ending as well. And I also like the part where Theodora and Glinda have a little scuffle. Glinda breaks Theodora's necklace, which reveals her true face, and she becomes this old crone, which is good stuff as well. So yeah, I really do like Oz the Great and Powerful. It has a lot of good things in it. It does have a lot of, not so good things in it. Like I said, the character of Theodora could have been written so much better. Michelle Williams, she was good for what it was, but she could have put in a little bit more effort in, at least for me. She came across as a little too bland for me. There's also a couple of story things I would have thrown in there as well. We do get some references to the Scarecrow. We get to see Munchkinland. We do get to see Theodora become the Wicked Witch of the West. But I think that to me, that's the movie's biggest problem, is that I just don't buy the motivation of Theodora wanting to suffering from a broken heart. It just seems too safe for me. I think she could have had like a better thing. I think they should have adapted what she was in that Wicked book that came out a couple of years ago. I think if you would have took elements of that story but watered them down to fit the Disney aesthetic, I think that would have worked much better than what you got in this thing. But all in all, for what it is, Oz the Great and Powerful, it's a decent watch, it's a good watch, it's a decent movie, it's a fun movie. I like it a lot. You can tell the people making this thing had appreciation for the Wizard of Oz movie itself, and that shows on screen. And at the end of the day, you can't ask for much. So I'm going to give Oz the Great and Powerful a solid 8 out of 10. It's, for the most part, well acted, good special effects, and it really captures the imagination like the original film did back in 1938. Anyway, if you've seen Oz the Great and Powerful, let me know in the comment sections below. Like this video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.